Hi FlossTube, it's Barb and this is Lost in Floss. Welcome back to part 2. This is episode 40. It's April 2020, towards the end. I'm not going to say a specific day because after my last problems trying to get a video out, who knows what day it'll appear. So thank you again to all our subscribers. I hope many of you newbies enjoyed the last video and will like this one too. There's a lot more I have to show you, and I realized I forgot to answer questions from video 38, I believe it is. Not sure if some of you have been sitting on the edge of your seats waiting for the answers for these, but if not, well, we'll just do them anyways, and hopefully maybe other people were interested in this. So there was one comment. I think Leanne was showing her Prairie schooler Santas and talking about how she was stitching on Davos fabric, and someone wrote in and said, what is day, D-A-Y, bows, B-O-W-S? So that really brought us a good chuckle and made us realize perhaps we need to enunciate a little bit better. Next, Rebecca asked a question about cording on the ornaments, and my best advice, because I know this is where Leanne learned her technique, is to go to Vonna, Twisted Stitchers blog or website and find her tutorial there. She does an excellent job explaining things, demonstrating. It's fairly easy once you get the tricks, and if you have someone else or a hook to help you. It's kind of hard, you know, trying to do it yourself, but I think you'll find probably everything you need at that site. So check that out. Then I don't know how many questions there were about the basket of snowmen in the video, because it was just right after Christmas, on the hutch, on the base level of the hutch behind us. And what they were are snowman projects from All Through the Night, Bonnie Sullivan. And it's actually printed fabric. A lot of the pattern is just printed on, and then you embellish it with some embroidery as well as some wood. That'd be interesting. Some wool pieces that you cut out and put on. I've never done that sort of thing, but I'm just getting the itch to try it. So at some point I will be venturing down that route, because I think they're so cute, and I looked and they're still on her website. So I think it'd probably be within the realm of many people's skill sets, because a lot of it's already there. So give it a try. And I'll put a picture of the basket. I found it in one of our videos, but if you really want to see it live on a video, go to, I think it's video 6, entitled The After Party, and maybe a minute from the end there's panning of various decorations in Leanne's house. You'll see the basket, and they really are cute. I think, you know, I'd enjoy doing them. Then we also had a question from Linda, why we have our fabric on boards. And the only reason, Linda, is so, like, if there's light shining through, that you can see the stitching and it holds it from like flopping all over the place. So really it's no reason other than makes it easy to show, and especially if you take the time to press it for a video, then it doesn't get all wrinkly again. So Roxy asked what color Leanne used for the wording on the Yes Virginia stitch she was doing. and it's DMC 844, which I believe is ultra dark beaver gray. So hope that helps. And I think that was it for questions. So moving on to probably what you really want to see is the things I've been stitching on. As I referenced last video, I've been finding comfort in stitching. Between all the terrible things that have happened in 2020 so far, I'd really like to stop it right here and do a do-over and have happier things this year. So what have I been working on? Well, this guy is one of my really, oopsie, old whips. And by old, I think I'm down to like things that are only 2 years old now, because that's kind of when I really got returned to stitching in earnest, I would say. So this is Prairie Schooler Christmas Eve. And this thing would have been done a long time ago if it hadn't given me so many problems as far as what I was going to use as a snowflake color. I saw this stitched on blue fabric and I was like, oh, that's what I want. And then I saw blue Monaco at Hobby Lobby and I thought, oh, that'll work great. And I liked it up until the time I started trying to put the white snowflakes in, and then realized they weren't going to show up at all. And I had many suggestions from people like, try this, try that, some of which I tried, some of which I probably forgot about. But then I got to the point where I bought some darker blue mottled fabric to start it over. And the more I thought about it, I already had Santa and the sleigh and one of the reindeer and maybe a house or two in. I thought, oh, you know, there's so many things that I really want to stitch, and I'm going to get to the point where it's time to put the snowflakes in. I'll have the rest of it done, and I'll just figure something out that shows up or do it without. Maybe it wasn't snowing that night. Who says it had to be snowing, right? So maybe that's the approach I'll take. Next, I've been working on the Little House Needlework series. I have done, let's see, September, October, and now I am working on March and April. And these are kind of fun because they come kind of as a mini kit, meaning that you get the chart and the flosses and then you just use your own fabric. But they're tiny, so you can kind of use scraps. But when we were at StitchCon last summer, we had a table mate, Pat. Hi, Pat. That's two. That had some little pieces of 32 count Wren left. And she was like, well, do you guys want these? And of course we're like, yes. So that's what I'm stitching mine on. I subbed out, I think it was Priscilla who used, is it crab? I'm thinking crab cakes, but I think it might be no, it's lobster claw crab cakes, I think it is, for the flower color. And I kind of was trying a periwinkle blue, but I'm not sure that shows up enough. Especially, I don't have all the little flowers in the grass. I don't know if you can see that. But I went over them twice, and I just don't know that there's enough contrast. So I might use, I think blue jeans came with it. So I'm going to probably try adding the little X's that go in the white border. Excuse me. And we'll see how it looks then. But these are kind of fun little stitches. I have more problems with the things that I think are going to go really quickly. I was doing the brown part going around and I got like maybe that much apart and realized I was like one stitch off because I'm stitching over two. And it's like, how can that happen? And I knew I had counted on the other side, you know, 3 sides matched up, and it's like, how can I be one stitch off? So I ripped up a little bit, counted again, it didn't line up, did a little bit more, counted again, didn't line up. Finally, when I had like this much of this left, I realized that I had dropped down one stitch just at this very, very last stitch going across horizontally. Like, duh. So that's always frustrating, and I think I'm one stitch off somewhere on the white part, but honestly, I think it's good enough. It's only going to be out for a month. It's like, I don't know that you have to worry too much about your personal best. And then next, one of my springy projects is this cute shepherd's bush bulb that I bought the chart a year or two ago when I was at Stitchville in Minneapolis. Such a fun place to visit. And oh shoot, I didn't write her name down, but somebody wrote in and told me when I showed this on Instagram about that the buttons are still available. So I am going to order those because I think they're really, really cute. And I'm a spring bulb person. That's my favorite flower season. I love the daffodils and hyacinths and tulips, and someday I aspire to going to Holland, seeing those fields live, although I just saw something on Instagram about the fields in Washington, which I did not know about, so maybe that would be easier to get to someday. But anyways, this is as far as I got. I think I'm using pretty much most of the called for. I'd have to look again at my notes, but I think it's really going to be cute. I don't know if I'll just make it into a pillow or what I'll end up doing with it. But it's been a kind of a fun little stitch. And wait, this can be your intermission. Go to the bathroom, get a snack. Look at my gray roots. Oh man. Let's see. Over a year ago, we started a sale. I always refer to it as the triplets. It was Harry Henry Jack sale. I think that's what it was. Anyways, these were all through the night charts by Sullivan. There's a series of 3 little guys, and these are just the cutest. So I had stitched one last year and finally got around to stitching this guy this year, Jack. Jack is just too cute. The lines on his pants didn't show up, or I guess the plaid, so I just took a dark blue and went over it with the 10th stitch. So I think he turned out really cute. This is another stitch that I worked on quite a bit. Prairie School of December. Michelle Farm Girl, do you like my chart all ratted up? We've been back and forth, like, what are we keeping them pristine for? Obviously, if it's someone else's chart, I will keep it pristine, or if it's a cardstock out of print, but otherwise I just use it and abuse it. So December is done. I think I will do most of them. There's a couple months that just don't speak to me. I think, you know, maybe the scenes aren't to my liking, or the little verses, so maybe I can morph them into something else or substitute some other Prairie Schooler for that month that I don't really care for. I started, this was a birthday giveaway. Gosh, I can't remember who sent it to me, but I had won the giveaway, and it was the Spring House Trio. And I love these little guys. They're just so bright and cheerful. So I had stitched the flower house last year, and this year I did the spring house. I did change around some of the colors. On the chart they use a really dark floss for the outline, and I wanted to lighten it up. So I think this is Crystal Lakes, does that sound right? But a lot of the floss colors are the same or similar, but I really like these. So there's a fair amount of stitching in them. It's not like they go really quickly, but in case you don't remember, this is the one I did. Oopsie, sorry. The one that I did last year, which I think, I like them both, but I think this one, the yellow house, I just loved. So that's kind of fun to have that one done. You guys have probably heard me complain about this, and no offense, Teresa Kogut, because I love your charts, but man, oh man, this was a lot of fill work on this one. I've had, since I showed it again, some people said, well, they're just gonna, you know, just not put all that fill in for the grass. I'm like, yeah, that is smart. Wish I would have thought of that. Or someone else said they were going to put snow in there, because why is a snowman on grass? And I'm like, why is a snowman in grass? And then I thought, well, maybe the snowman, it was so brutal in the Midwest that he escaped and ran somewhere nicer. Still maybe freezing, so he didn't melt, but no snow. So anyways, well, I showed that already. I finally have this one done. I do love it. It was a kit from Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin. I bought it the very first time I was there. I think that was in 2018, maybe fall. And when we were there last year again, I was just like losing my momentum of working on it. Oh no, that is filled in. I saw some empty, the windows are like almost the color of the fabric, and I thought, oh, I missed those. But I saw it, it was hanging in a back room, and it was so cute. I thought, I gotta get that finished. I really do like it. And so I will have it for next winter season. Next, we're going to move on to the Stitch Along. Baby, It's Cold Out by Heartstring Samplery. That's twist pattern. And I love, 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 love this chart. The second I saw it, I knew I would stitch it. My main things with the Stitch Along, Leanne and I started in November. I think I didn't like the fabric that I chose at first. I thought it wasn't dark enough. And so then I saw Leanne, how hers looked, and I'm like, no, that's what I want. So I ordered that fabric, and I don't know, like 32 count is really easy for me to stitch on fairly quickly with the sewing method. 36 count, if I'm doing stitching at the end of the night after working all day, it's not all that relaxing to me. But I really wanted to do the 1 count to make it more rustic, and I was afraid on the 32 count that it just wouldn't work out so good. So finally, when the Stitch Along was regenerated or revitalized for Valentine's Day, I went back to a piece of 32 count that I got and stitched over one, and I love it. I did have to change out the green because the call for green was not showing up well enough. And then there were so many things that people added to do in memory of Leanne, like cardinals. So I took her, I think it was Tree Farm chart, and there were little cardinals on there. So Steph, Just Keep Stitching, had the idea to do 2 cardinals, one for Leanne and one for me. So I put one there and one on the O. Although then afterwards I'm thinking, well, the cardinal's supposed to be a symbol of someone that you loved and lost, and I'm like, well, what does that say for me, Stephanie? Hope nothing bad. But, and then I also, like, somebody put a heart in, and I wanted to put a heart in, but I wanted to be, like, kind of subtle. So I kind of did a little 1/1 peekaboo heart coming out from behind the building. And I really like that. So I did stitch 1 thread over 2 on 32 count fabric, but the snowflakes just weren't popping enough for me. And I was afraid that if I just, a lot of times I'll just go over the full stitch with a 10 stitch. So it's just going over one part of the cross. But I was afraid that would look uneven. So I realized that if I used a tiny needle, I could just, is it gonna show up? I could just slip under the original second leg of the cross stitch and put my bottom layer in. So there are 2 stitches on the bottom, 2 threads on the bottom, and then cross it over the top again. And it was really pretty easy to do that. Oh, you guys probably all knew to do that already, but rather than like ripping out everything, and that way it wasn't like I ever had to count again. It was really pretty quick to go over it. But I love, love, love how this turned out. I love seeing how many of you have stitched it and what it meant to you. I just, it's such a beautiful chart. The sentiments, I love everything about it, and I can't wait to get it FO'd or FFO'd for this next cold season. Many of you have seen the New York Dreamer various season time charts that Leanne and I stitched. We both had ordered, I think we started with winter time, then did summertime, autumn time, and springtime was, oh, and we have Christmas time too. Springtime was one of the ones we had left. And I don't know, to me, spring screams brighter colors, and so I wanted to just kind of really make it a little bit more cheery. So I think this is 32 count Country Vintage Mocha, but I use my own color conversion, which if you're on Instagram, when I posted this chart, someone asked me for the colors, and so it's in one of the comments if you want to know what colors I used. I got help from Lisa, one of my Milwaukee Stitch friends, on the border. I was afraid of what color green. I wanted something that showed but didn't clash with the, I think it's Caribbean Waters that I use for the springtime words. So what I ended up doing was using a length of Desert Mesquite, Classic Colorworks, and then a length of Spinach. And I think they really have very similar colorations, but Desert Mesquite has maybe a little bit more variation. I just never know if it's variation or variegation. One of you English majors, let me know. But yeah, so I did it that way because then I thought, well, then there'd be some variegation, but not like so much, because I thought there was enough of that sort of thing in the springtime words. Then another update that I made, I really think birds, the original wording was singing, And I always like to think of birds as chirping, although they sing too, I guess. But so I just made the word chirping work, taking some of the shapes from some of the other letters. So that was a pretty easy change. But I really love this one. And I can't wait to see it. I think I'm gonna make it into a pillow. It seems like I love wintertime so much that maybe that's what I'll do with this one as well. So, guys, that's what I have going for my FOs. So, pretty good, huh? Now we're going to go to, well, I'm going to do Stitchy Kindness. So, on Instagram, Rosalie, I had admired her spring fling. She had it finished. It looked adorable. And I just said, it was on my list of things to stitch. And she's like, oh, I'd like to send you the chart. So it was just so nice of her. I really appreciate it. And I thought I had some pink fabric, but turns out the piece I had was too tiny for this. So I have some fabric on the way from Keepsake, so I'm excited. I don't know if I'll stitch that this year or maybe wait till January and then do it for next spring, because it just screams spring to me. And then kind of the same thing happened with Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. You all know and love her. She was stitching Madame Cottontail. Such a cute little chart. And she finished it as like a standing, I forget what they call those. Vonna has a tutorial, but it's like a domed standing upright thing that's more three-dimensional, and it's just adorable. Look at it on her Instagram. But when I called into the attic, I thought the chart I was getting was this one, and what I got, and it was my mistake, what I got was Spring Fling, which I also think is cute, but this is the chart that I really wanted to do. So I was just messaging back and forth with Olivia, telling her about my stupidity, and she's like, oh, I'll send you my chart. So thank you so much, Olivia. Love yours, so hope to recreate something similar. The great thing was she wrote down on the chart her color conversion, so I won't even have to guess at that. That's always so helpful when you change things. Okay, so till next time, bye.